Oh, live. Welcome, everybody. What is today? Saturday. Special Saturday show. For you, coming. Right at you.
You're really saying the difference between a straight line and a curve is almost nothing, so we can get rid of it.
Over,
And there isn't any difference.
A curve with that radius over that distance, the difference is almost nothing. Yes.
Is there a difference?
Oh yeah, there has to be, obviously. But
So there is a difference between a straight line and a curve.
So what? It's a surface distance. That's what we're measuring. Whether it's straight or curved, it doesn't matter. It's the surface distance. So do we agree that if we can measure 5,280 feet, we could also measure 6,076 feet? And that it wouldn't matter whether you're over sand or
do we
dirt
agree that there's
or
both
rock
straight
or
lines,
water?
distances, Blue?
I'm not worried about straight lines. I'm just saying.
But 5,800 and whatever feet is a straight line, and the 6,000 and whatever, that's also a straight line.
Okay, fine.
Just one of them's than the other.
There you go.
There's a difference, whatever the portion is.
It's about 15% different.
15%. In length.
Yeah.
No difference in straightness.
Newsflash.
But there is a difference in
6,076
length.
feet is 15% more than 5,280 feet is. Yeah, they're two different lengths. They're two different lengths because they came about two different ways.
Two different ways.
One of them, you just said, well, let's say if 69 miles is 1 degree, because we're on the water and we can't tell, can we just say that 1 arc minute is a mile? It's near enough. I think that something like that.
That's essentially what you do.
Well, not really. Because nobody else equates an angle to a distance, as far as I know, anyway.
Well, except everybody that's ever done celestial navigation.
Have you ever done celestial navigation, Blue?
I haven't done it in a long time. I got rid of my sextant when I got airplane.
Angle saves lives.
I used to carry one in the luggage compartment of my airplane.
Yeah, I've actually got a sextant here still. I haven't got rid of it. But I mean, celestial navigation? I've never done that. Have you ever done celestial navigation, Blue?
Yeah. Been a long time.
Do you want to give Nathan a hand? Have you ever? Do you want to go over there and have a word with him about this?
No.
No. You can both have a laugh. Because Nathan Oakley's going around saying that I'm stupid for saying you can do fuck all with an angle. But you can change it to a distance. You should tell Nathan.
Well, if you can't if you can't understand that an angle subtends a specific distance on the circumference of a circle, I don't know what to say.
You are measuring the angle externally, aren't you?
I'm pretty sure if I sit down at the center of a circle, it has a circumference of 360 inches, and I draw out a 1 degree angle, 2 lines beginning at the center, 2 lines separated by, and that's what an angle is. It's that area between 2 lines. 2 lines separated by 1 degree. If the circumference is 360 degrees, or is 360 inches, then 1 degree is 1 inch. I'm real sure of that. Now, statute miles came about as the
See, Nathan
name-
Oakley said, you
as-
said at the center of the circle, and Nathan Oakley was saying the other day that the radius of a circle. I think Nathan Oakley said that's the flat plane. You getting the? Is that right?
Well, Nathan Oakley has no idea what he's talking about, so I don't listen to the guy.
Well, he did say that. I think he said that some people got the radius from a flat plane measurement. His radius, he said, from the flat plane that he talks about. We call it pleonasm, right? Ridiculous.
If anybody says more shit that's wrong than you, it's him.
But if you're measuring the angle at the center, then you're at that little bit where you do measure angles, right? A portion of a circle. And the circle that you're talking about, right? It's the same circle that Nathan Oakley's talking about, isn't it?
No, I don't
No,
think so. I
it's a
doubt it
different
is. I don't. To be honest, Bev, I don't know. I don't listen to Nathan.
Well, I like listening to the stupid shit people say. There's loads of people saying some really stupid shit. But like Nathan's going around saying that, you know, geometrically, he can do something with just an angle. Same as you.
Now let's go back and talk about miles. Where do you think the statute mile came from? Oh, Bill, it's you that did it.
There's a teacher, man. This teacher did it.
I heard the original one was the Roman centurion. It's like steps.
Yeah, they had all kinds of different opinions, and that was a source of confusion, especially when people were calculating how much land there is involved and that sort of thing. And they needed, I think that's part of the story. They needed a more defined, defined distance that they could say this is a mile. And it was the British Parliament that enacted that. I forget the dates now. It's back in the 1600s, I think. And they already had the length of a foot and the length of a rod and the length of a furlong. And if you get the right numbers of all those things, you end up with 5,280 feet. And what happens at that point, it becomes a statute mile. In other words, a legal mile by statute. So that's where the statute mile originates. The nautical mile is a little different. To make life easy for navigators, they decided to say, okay, a minute of arc should be a nautical mile. That's easy enough, but that needs to translate into a distance. So what units of distance would you use?
The knot.
Well, there have been things. There's been a thing called a meter that's been around since the Roman days, I think, but it didn't have a real. It wasn't really tied to anything. There was another unit that was used around Europe. I know the French used it. I think the British used it too. And I'll probably mispronounce it. It's called a toise. It was roughly 2 meters, more or less. But the French Academy said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We want the meter to be equal to 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the North Pole to the equator. And that's how the meter was being defined at that time. Now we've got a different way of tying it to things today.
So why do you think that they chose 10 million?
Round number.
It's a bit of a
It's a
weird round number, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just a round number.
So they arbitrarily sort of said, let's call that 10 million, and then we'll know what a meter is.
Yeah,
when we backtrack it.
That'll make the circumference 40 million meters, right? 10 million is a quadrant, so.
If you assume a circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the circle that Nathan Oakley's talking about.
Well, that's a sphere that I'm talking about, but whatever.
Circle, 540-degree triangle, right?
So now that we say we have a length that we say is a meter, and it's 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the equator to the North Pole. We've also defined a nautical mile as 1 minute of arc. Well, how many minutes are there in that 10 million meters is 90 degrees of arc? So 90 times 60 is 5,400.
Wait a minute, Blue. A meter's a straight distance, isn't it?
Well, you can take a string that's a meter long and wrap it around a pole if you want to, Bill.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if you put a load of meters together, if you put 10 million meters together, I mean, it doesn't curve, does it?
I know you're going to try to.
Doesn't know, does it?
Obfuscate your way around this, but let's just finish. Finish what we started. 10 million meters